Good afternoon. This is Kathleen Drew, Chair of the Washington State Energy Facility Site Evaluation Council, calling our February meeting to order. Ms. Galbraith, Ms. Grantham, will you please call the roll?
Yes, no problem. Department of Commerce.
Kate Kelly, present.
Department of Ecology. Department of Fish and Wildlife.
Mike Livingston, present.
Department of Natural Resources.
Excused.
Utilities and Transportation Commission.
Stacy Brewster, present.
Local government and optional state agencies for the Horse Heaven Project. Department of Agriculture.
Excused.
Benton County.
Ed Brost is here.
For the
Brian Malley is here.
Oh, thank you. For the Badger Mountain Project, Douglas County.
Jordan Julio, present.
The Assistant Attorney General.
John Thompson, present.
Administrative Law Judges, Johnette Sullivan. Adam Torum.
This is Judge Torum, present.
Laura Bradley. For EFSEC Council Staff, Sonia Bumpus. Amy Hofgemeyer.
Amy Hofgemeyer, present.
Amy Moon.
Amy Moon, present.
Kyle Overton.
Kyle Overton here.
Joe Wood.
Joe Wood, present.
Sean Chisholm.
Sean Chisholm, present.
Patty Betts. Lindsay Hemfrey.
Lindsay Remfrey, present.
Sorry, Stu Henderson.
Stuart Henderson, present.
Joan Owens.
Joan Owens, present.
And is our court reporter on the line?
Carissa Kitzelman, present.
Thank you. For the operational updates, Kittitas Valley Wind Project.
Eric Melbardis, present.
Wild Horse Wind Power Project.
Jennifer Galbraith, present.
Grace Harbor Energy Center.
Chris Sharon's present for Grace Harbor.
Chehalis Generation Facility.
Stefano Schnitker and Stacy Leclerc, present for Chehalis.
Columbia Generating Station.
Mary Ramos, present.
Columbia Solar.
Owen Hurd, present.
For the Council for the Environment, Bill Sherman.
Present.
And Megan Saloni.
Present.
Chair, there is a quorum for the regular council and for the Horse Heaven and Badger Mountain Council.
Thank you. And in the chat, Eli Levitt from Ecology is present as well. Thank you. Moving on to the proposed agenda, you see it before you. Is there a motion to adopt the proposed agenda?
This is Stacy Brewster. I'll move we adopt the proposed agenda.
Thank you. Second?
Kate Kelly, second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? The agenda is adopted. Moving on to the meeting minutes. We only have one set of minutes for this month. It's January 18th regular meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from January 18th?
It's Mike Livingston. I'll move to approve the meeting minutes from January 18th.
Thank you. And second?
Eli Levitt.
Go ahead, Eli.
Oh, I'll second.
Thank you. I do have a couple of corrections for the minutes on page 26, line 13. The word determined should be determine, no D on the end. On page 29, line 20, the word weather, W-E-A-T-H-E-R, should be whether, W-H-E-T-H-E-R. And on page 31, line 10, citing, C-I-T-I-N-G, should be citing, S-I-T-I-N-G. Anyone else have any corrections from the January 18th meeting minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes as amended, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Minutes as amended are approved. Thank you. Moving on now to our operational updates, our projects. Kittitas Valley Wind Project, Mr. Melbardis.
Good afternoon, Chair, EFSEC staff. This is Eric Melbardis with EDP Renewables for the Kittitas Valley Wind Power Project. We had nothing non-routine to report during the period.
Thank you. Wild Horse Wind Power Project, Ms. Galbraith.
Yes, thank you, Chair Drew, council members, and staff. This is Jennifer Galbraith with Puget Sound Energy for the Wild Horse Wind Facility. I have no non-routine updates for the month of January.
Thank you. Chehalis Generation Facility, Mr. Schnitger.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Stefano Schnitger, the operations manager for the Chehalis Generation Facility. Nothing new to report on environmental compliance, no issues or updates. Safety, plant is 0 injuries for the reporting period. We're at a total of 2,376 days without a lost time accident. Nothing to report for any current or upcoming projects. We do have a personnel change that occurred in January. Mark Miller, the plant manager, retired on January 21st, and that is all I have to report.
Thank you. Moving on to Grays Harbor Energy, Mr. Sharon.
Good afternoon, Chair Drew, council members, and EFSEC staff. The month of January, Grays Harbor Energy Center does have a couple non-routine items to report. January 28th, Grays Harbor Energy Center, we received and submitted our winter source compliance testing results. All the emissions were analyzed to be within the permitted limits. However, we requested to EFSEC that the results of the sulfuric acid be invalid and also retested based on the reasoning that the measured values for the sulfuric acid and the resulting sulfuric acid SO2 ratios or sulfur dioxide ratios are higher than what we had expected based on the OEM literature and past experience. Retesting will allow us to establish a new sulfuric acid to sulfur dioxide ratio for each unit. And we also requested to continue using the existing sulfuric acid and sulfur dioxide ratios from 2016's stack testing, compliance stack testing, until additional tests can be completed. And we did complete that retesting for both the sulfur dioxide and the sulfuric acid compliance tests last week. Compliance with the Grays Harbor Energy Center's PSD and their operating permit is dependent on unit-specific ratios of sulfuric acid to SO2 or sulfuric acid to sulfur dioxide. Based on the past test results and OEM literature, we expect the ratio to be less than 1. However, results in source test reported equate to ratios of 33.3 for unit gas turbine 1 or unit 1 and 10.7 for gas turbine 2 or unit 2. Using these ratios to calculate compliance with the 2.17 pounds of sulfuric acid per hour. Rolling annual average limit results in gas turbine 1 exceeding the limit by over 100 pounds and sulfuric acid per hour, and for gas turbine 2 exceeding the limit by over 30 pounds of sulfuric acid per hour, based on recent operations data. So ultimately, the short answer is we don't believe our test results are accurate and requested to retest. Also on January 13th, Grace Harbor Energy Center submitted follow-up correspondence regarding the high CO emissions during past startups reported in November. We believe we've identified the root cause of this issue and have a solution. The solution is modifying our operating procedures to achieve higher CO catalyst temperature earlier in the startup and increasing our initial load hold. The combination will increase combustion temperature, which will result in a more complete combustion of natural gas and decrease the amount of time before the CO catalyst is heated to an ideal performance temperature for reducing CO emissions. We're currently in the process of verifying these changes will be effective and mitigate the high CO under all operating conditions during startups. And that is all I have, unless there's any questions, Chair Drew.
Chair Drew, I believe you're muted.
Thank you. Are there questions for Mr. Sharon? So you said you completed the tests, but do you have the results yet from those completed? When do you expect to have the results?
If I remember right, it's we have 30 days to get the results back and to EFSEC. So we're waiting on the results from the testing company.
And are the two related, what you found in terms of looking at how you activate the startup is related to, or you also said that you don't believe that the test results were accurate?
That would be my simplistic answer is correct. We do not believe the test results were accurate.
Okay.
To be blunt, I question the original testing process.
Okay. So we'll know by next month whether or not those are accurate. And in addition, you have a procedure to more completely combust on startup. Is that correct?
Yes, we're essentially we need to go through a few more iterations of startups under different conditions to verify what our belief. So far, every startup we've conducted since modifying our startup procedure has proven successful.
Okay. Well, we look forward to additional information. Was there something else you wanted to say?
No, I believe you started to ask if the two are related, and no, they're not.
Okay, I did start to ask that. Thank you. Two separate. Okay, I appreciate that. Any other questions from council members? Okay, thank you, Mr. Sharon. Moving on to Columbia Generating Station and Washington Nuclear Project 1 and 4. I believe I heard Mary Ramos was on for this report.
Good afternoon, Chair Drew, EFSEC Council staff. This is Mary Ramos reporting for Energy Northwest. For the month of January, I have 2 items to report. The first, Energy Northwest is continuing to address comments that we received from EFSEC and Ecology regarding the annual Columbia Generating Station air emission source registration. Energy Northwest has requested an extension for the submittal of the registration. Earlier this month, we met with Ecology and discussed our progress on the report. And at the meeting, Ecology stated that Energy Northwest's progress and ongoing discussions with Ecology would be sufficient to demonstrate good faith compliance efforts by Energy Northwest. The second item I have to report is regarding an amendment that we're working on the diesel generator runtime report, which is to update information for the last reporting period. The report is required under EFSEC Order 873. Energy Northwest recently discovered that the runtime meter for a diesel generator 3 at Columbia Generating Station was malfunctioning, and we have replaced that runtime meter. The new runtime meter is working as intended, and Energy Northwest is continuing to monitor its function. That's all I have to report for both Columbia Generating Station and WNP 1 and 4. Are there any questions for me?
Thank you. Council members, are there any questions? Okay, hearing none. Thank you for your report. Moving on to Columbia Solar.
Good afternoon,
Mr.
Chair Drew. Hi.
Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Chair Drew, council members, and EFSEC staff. This is Owen Hurd from Tuso Energy reporting on the Columbia Solar projects. On Penstemon, we're working through final testing procedures prior to substantial completion, and PSE is working through some final communication issues on the interconnection. On Camas, most of the remaining modules have been delivered. We're still waiting on one container, but these were the containers that we've been waiting on for a while. Module installation has resumed this week, and we're shooting for mechanical completion sometime in March. On Urtica, the remaining modules will be delivered in late February. We're still working on pile remediation, and mechanical completion is pushed out to probably late April. Environmental compliance Golder and Northwest Code inspections are ongoing, no change there, and we're working through specific plant mixes for the mitigation areas, and we have our first TAC meeting scheduled this Friday.
Great. Are there any questions for Mr. Hurd? Thank you. Desert Claim Wind Power Project, Ms. Moon.
Good afternoon, Council Chair Drew and members of the council. For the record, once again, this is Amy Moon providing the Desert Claim update. EFSEC staff continue to coordinate with Desert Claim. However, currently there are no project updates.
Thank you. And Ms. Moon, update for Horse Heaven Wind Farm.
So good afternoon, Chair Drew and council members. Again, this is Amy Moon providing the update for the Horse Heaven Wind Project. In January, EFSEC staff continued to work on the preparation of the Draft Environmental Impact Statement, or DEIS. The work has included the review of our contractor Golder's work on drafting the DEIS, as well as coordinating chapter reviews with Washington state agencies such as the Department of Fish and Wildlife, Department of Agriculture, and the Department of Natural Resources. EFSEC staff has continued work on wildlife and habitat mitigation in coordination with the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife and the Horse Heaven applicant. Habitat and wildlife mitigation discussions have included impact analysis, as well as opportunities for impact avoidance and minimization of impacts that are supporting the application, or supporting the applicant, in development of an updated mitigation plan. EFSEC received responses to some recent data requests from the applicant regarding water resources and transportation. The information received from the data requests is being used to inform the DEIS preparation. Additional noise baseline measurements near residential areas have been scheduled for mid-February, and that's part of a data request. Does the council have any questions?
Are there any questions from council members? Okay, thank you, Ms. Moon. Our next update is for Goose Prairie Solar. Mr. Overton.
Yes, thank you. This is Kyle Overton, the EFSEC site specialist for the Goose Prairie project. No real major updates. Staff continue to coordinate with the certificate holder on preparing for construction and reviewing some early pre-construction submittals. Amy Hafkemeyer does have an update directly after me regarding the SCA transfer that's being proposed currently. Are there any questions?
Are there any questions? Thank you, Ms. Hofkemeyer.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Chair Drew and Council. For the record, my name is Amy Hofkemeyer, and I wanted to alert the Council that the certificate holder for Goose Prairie has approached EFSEC with regards to an SCA transfer. We have met with the certificate holder to talk about what that request should look like and what that process would entail. And the certificate holder is working on preparing that. We would anticipate seeing a request to do an SCA transfer to a new project owner sometime in the coming months.
Thank you. And that's a transfer of ownership, which is an amendment process and then has all the steps associated with that, including the public comment meeting as well, correct?
Correct.
Thank you. Okay. We look forward to an update on that. Badger Mountain, Sean Chisholm, Mr. Chisholm.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Chair Drew, Council Chair Drew, and council members and EFSEC staff. For the record, this is Sean Chisholm providing an update on Badger Mountain Solar Energy Project. EFSEC staff continues to work on the project with the project proponent, Avangrid Renewable, to process the Badger Mountain Solar Energy Project application for site certification, or ASC, that was received October 7th of 2021. EFSEC staff continues working with a contractor and state agencies reviewing the ASC. Today, February 15th, EFSEC staff received a letter from the applicant agreeing to proceed with a declaration of significance, or DS, and the preparation of an environmental impact statement, or EIS. EFSEC staff will now proceed with the next steps, which is to issue the determination and scoping and the associated public comment period. Staff anticipates that this will happen within the next few weeks. Staff are also coordinating with the administrative law judge, Judge Bradley, on drafting an order setting land use consistency for adjudication as directed by the council at the January 18th council meeting. That will be available for the council review at the March 15th council meeting. We're continuing to reach out to Fish and Wildlife, or WDFW, Department of Natural Resources, or DNR, Colville Confederated Tribes, Spokane Tribe, and Yakima Nation for the interest of dealing with this project. Does the council have any questions so far?
Are there questions from council members? No questions, thank you. So if that concludes our reports for today, then we have nothing further. And our meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.